strength and perseverance in a very quiet and calm package. This is what we find in our next interview with Mark Howell-Paul. I know that you're going to enjoy this interview and just learning about one of my favorite people in our community. So listen to this interview with myself and Mark Howell-Paul, talking a little bit about his ministry, talking a little bit about his work, and most importantly, what inspires him to keep doing what he does. Enjoy. Welcome back, guys. So today we have a special guest who you've seen many times on this program before, doing his thing, showing us his talent, sharing with us. Today we take it one step further and we're going to have an interview with our very own Mark Howell-Paul again. Thank you, Mark, for coming and speak to us for a little bit. And I really want to delve into you and what really inspires you and makes you who you are, the wonderful person that you are, sharing your talent with us freely and wonderfully. So Mark, welcome.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. And I want you to go straight into it. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about your ministry. Tell me about your music.
Okay, well, my name is Mark Howell-Paul. I am from OLPH San Fernando. I started off being part of my family band where we performed in different parts of Trinidad, and we also spent a lot of time focusing on ministry in church. So we were part of the choir, and we also used to do a lot of ministry, go and do retreats, different things that the church had where they needed, music ministers. We were there. We were called the Magnificent M's, and as of recently, I decided to start writing my own music, producing my own music.
So you wrote for the band?
Yes, I wrote 3 songs. 3 songs. The first time I ever wrote a song for my family was when they had the Catholic Youth Expo in 2015, and they had a competition, a songwriting competition, and I wrote a song and we performed it at the Youth Expo. The song was called Mission in Motion. I wrote another song where they had a boat cruise, and we performed it at the boat cruise. And then the last time I wrote for them was we wrote our original song, original music, and we did a music video for it. It's called Beautiful Morning.
So how did you transition from this family band? I believe you're an instrumentalist as well?
Yes, I play the keyboard.
The keyboard, yes. Right. So how do you transition from that to being a gospel artist? What inspired you to transition from the band to a solo artist?
Well, when you realize that you have something to offer, yes, it's good to offer to other people, but sometimes, well, I think I reached that point where I realized, I should own what I have. Yes, I'm contributing to my family. I'm still contributing to the family band, to the music, but I reached that point where I would like to own what I have and to, use it for me as well. Mm-hmm. And so that's where I started to, delve into songwriting, to producing, to, recording my own music, mm-hmm. because mm-hmm. that's also something I always wanted to do as well.
I mean, and yeah. you're making waves with it. I believe you were nominated for a gospel award.
Yes, I was nominated in 2021 mm-hmm. for the Gospel Music Awards of Trinidad and Tobago. That was a really wonderful experience. The award ceremony was not really based on any song. It was based on the contributions that artists have made during the pandemic, because that was the theme about it. So it was not a particular song, it was just the fact that you were contributing.
And boy,
music.
Did you contribute, because I was listening to some of your songs and the lyrics, they tell you in life is about the good and the bad, the ebbs and the flows, the yes. times of periods of connection with God and periods of desolation, and your music really brings that together, because sometimes there's this song that you sang so good and it's so happy and it's so joyous, and then the next song you're singing about I'm writing in my journal and
yeah.
and all these thoughts and trying to push off all these it's so real.
I mean, that's one of the reasons I like dancehall music,
right.
more than others, and because dancehall allows you to do that.
Okay.
It allows you to get the different types of emotions in there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little more freedom, because if you're singing something like soca is it's you're not gonna find people singing a lot of sad themes in soca. So dancehall kind of allows for freedom.
Mm-hmm.
So you could sing a happy dancehall, you could sing a sort of
mellow,
mm-hmm. or even the sort of aggressive type. So
mm-hmm.
it kind of allows for that freedom to express those. So that's why I would say my main genre is dancehall, because it allows for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Now the industry is a very difficult industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could all
Yes.
we all admit that. We know
Yes.
we know that's a difficult industry. And yet still you've been at it for, I think you told me, 5 years?
Yeah.
Right. And you just keep getting better, and and just working at it head down, dedicated to it. What keeps you inspired despite the difficulties that I'm sure you would have really come across in this industry, in this local industry? Tell me, what inspires Mark Howell-Paul to be so dedicated to his craft?
Well, I think it's the message that I have to offer. That's sort of what keeps me, at it, keeps me wanting to do it, because I know I have something good to offer.
Yes,
And because I have something good to offer, I have to keep doing it regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of people. It's so easy for musicians to sort of just do anything to keep relevant, or
Mm-hmm.
do anything just to get a name out there. And because of that could lead to all sorts of issues, personal issues, and eventually it's not good for you.
Mm-hmm.
So because I have something good to offer, I want to stick at it regardless.
Right.
Yeah.
And I also like the fact that you make life about a journey in a way, because last year you went into the PreSeminary.
Yes.
To figure out if you had a calling to become a priest.
Yeah.
And you spoke about it in your album launch,
Yes.
right, which you will tell us about in a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. You spoke about your journey through that experience, so I want you to share a little bit about what has that done for you, and what has it done for your music. Yeah.
Well, so the PreSeminary, that's basically a program where you spend a year living with other brothers to discern, a call to the priesthood. Is God calling you to the priesthood? So I entered that. It had its ups and downs, as everything in life.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't discredit it, but it was a really beautiful experience.
Mm-hmm.
To know about yourself, that was one of the main aspects of the program for me, to know more about yourself, to know your strengths, your weaknesses, to know who you are as an individual, to really, all those things sort of would help you in your discernment process to see, okay, is it that I really have a call, or is it that I'm running away from something, or whatever. So knowing yourself and to figure out your strengths and weaknesses, those sort of help in the discernment process. And it was really a great year, although it was challenging at times.
Mm-hmm.
And that sort of brought me to that space where I realized what I really have to offer. And because of who I am, the kind of person that I am, and what I have to offer, it is valuable, and society needs that. So that sort of helped shape my music in a whole different direction now.
Yes, because I believe that is what shaped the title of your next album.
Yes.
Of your album.
Yes.
And that's what we're going to talk about now. So he has an album that he launched a couple of weeks ago, and it's called Self-Aware. And I want you to talk a little bit about your journey in making that album. How was it? How many songs are there on this album?
There are 4 songs on the album.
4. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about your journey there.
Okay.
Your journey to self-awareness.
Yeah, well, as the title says, it really was born out of that aspect of me journeying into my deepest self, dealing with all the different aspects of my life, my strengths, my weaknesses. And also there was sort of also that struggle there of battling, that call. Is it that I'm called to be a priest, or is it that I'm not called to be a priest? So it was that face to face with reality that I used that to write some of these songs. And that's basically the concept of the album. And there were some other songs that I also did before even the pre-seminary that I knew fit so perfectly with everything that was happening, and I wanted to put that together. So as much as it was about my journey, I think it's about everyone else's journey, because we all have points in our life where we stop and we ask the deeper questions. Who am I? What is my purpose? So I didn't want it to just be about my experience. I wanted it to be for everyone to relate to.
So what advice would you have for somebody who looks at their self at this point in time and asks themselves the deeper question and don't like what they find? They don't like the answer. What would you say to somebody who finds themselves in that predicament?
Well, you could either do two things: live with it or deal with it. That's what I would say.
Okay.
Live with it. Yeah, you accept yourself for who you are, and if it's something that can be changed, you see how best you could change it. If it is you have to go to therapy or counseling or whatever, you see how best you could work with it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's a stigma attached to therapy, right?
Oh yeah.
What would you say to somebody battling with that?
Oh yeah. Well, you can't follow the stigmas. People will say what they want to say. It's about you. You have to deal with yourself.
In order to make a contribution,
in order to make a contribution, you have to deal with yourself.
Thank you so much, Mark. Tell us, how can we get into contact with you? How can we support you? How can we support your music?
Yes, well, you can get in contact with me on social media. I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Mark Howell-Paul. YouTube, that's where you find all my music videos and other content that I do. Mark Howell-Paul again, so you can find me out there. And yeah, you could also check out the album on all streaming platforms: Spotify, iTunes, all streaming platforms where you get your music. You could check out my album Self Aware there.
Thank you so much for taking the time and the energy and the effort to come here and have this conversation. It was so nice to see you. The exact personality that shines in your music videos, the light, the brightness, the smile, everything, it is the same way on the videos as it is in real life. I really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much.
Yes.